Today we're gonna go through a game that I played last month. After 6 months of playing chess, I finally was able to see the board like Beth Harmon. What does that mean? Definitely does not mean I played like Beth Harmon. It just means that I was able to visualize the board on the ceiling or with my eyes closed, or what, you know, just in a way without looking at the actual board. And this was really exciting for me because I watched the Queen's Gambit right before getting into chess, and this was just something that you think is pretty cool and you want to do eventually. And for me, it was really cool to be able to actually say, okay, I was successful in looking at a board position in a real game and try and figure out what the best move was. And if you can see from the analysis I'm about to do, I actually completely saved the game with this one move. Not that it went from losing to winning, but it gave me opportunities. It was an only move to not totally get wrecked, and I'll show you what I mean. And full disclaimer, this is definitely a daily game. So what that means is I had a full day to make a move, each move. So it's not a rapid, it's not blitz or whatever. This is a daily game, similar to the correspondence game, where you basically have all the time in the world almost to make a move. And what that means is that it gave me hours at a time to review certain moves as needed. And I started the game off with Caro Kann, my favorite opening at the moment, as black. And he went into an advanced variation. So I know classical is to play bishop f5, but I like playing c5 just because that's the one line that I typically study a little bit more. And the idea is that if they take, then you can jump the knight in, pop up the e6 pawn, and then take back with the bishop usually. So he doesn't do that, but now he does take it. And before I play e6, I just wanted to make sure I get my bishop out. And so then I got the bishop out. We keep going, trade off, win the pawn back. Here, I tried to use this geometric pattern of a check, thinking that it was a nice, beautiful fork. But unfortunately, it was not a fork. We're gonna put that away. And it was not a fork because the knight jumps in. Even though it's pinned, if you take, then it's no longer pinned. You lose the queen. No bow test Gambit. We did not bow test Gambit. But that was my idea. I remember thinking, oh, look at this fork. It's beautiful. Such a beautiful thing. Nope, not yet. But what this does allow is another, is you can, when you see a pinned piece, you can always attack it, right? That's the idea. And then he, took with the bishop. Did not do anything about this knight, and he castled into an open G file, or semi-open G file. So that wasn't a great move by him. But I took the free piece. We keep going, try to jump in, try to get king to safety. Here I was just trying to bait him into letting me open up my F file, get the rook lift in. So we kind of went through here, and this is what I'm saying. I had a totally winning position, -6, totally winning position. And even though this was a daily game played over the course of like 3 weeks, I took way too few minutes to look at this move, and I played rook takes f3, and you can see that the eval bar just plummet. And you know what? It's funny. It's very ironic that this video and this analysis is all about how I could see the board, because in this moment on move 18, I could not see the board. I could not see the board at all. This queen sees the rook, and obviously he saw it and he took. But what ends up happening next, I bring the rook, trying to get some tempo. I thought that this was a good idea to utilize the rook and the bishop, kind of a battery, not really with the queen though, but computer doesn't like it. So here I jump in with the knight, thinking that this one's actually a true fork. But again, we gotta put that thing away because it's not really a fork. Because what happens is he takes on e6. He takes my e6 pawn, giving me a check, and I can't do anything about taking that rook yet. I block with the rook, which I thought was a great idea because I was thinking, oh, knight guards e8, we're all good. He removes the defender. I just take because I snap took and I didn't really know what else to do. Apparently queen to d5 and trying to get him to instigate this trade was a little bit better. He starts, and now guys, this is where the trouble starts. I was basically thinking, oh, I got this game in the bag, and then all of a sudden I had that horrendous blind spot of a moment. Rook f3, he takes with his queen, and then after this I was just on my heels, just trying to survive. He kind of flounders a little bit. He has, you know, I'm just trying to survive. Here I give up a mate in 9. He doesn't see it, fortunately. And then I kind of dance around. And right around here, I think I was getting on the airplane. And I was thinking, okay, let me figure out what happens. But, okay. So from here, this is the exact move where I had to look at the board and figure out, hey, what's about to happen? And I was like, all right, how can I survive this position? And I closed my, I like stared at this for like the entire time after boarding. I got in my seat. I just stared at this position for a long time. And I was thinking, well, how do I get out of this? I don't know. Do I move the queen to a6? Or sorry, king to a6? Do I, you know, sack the queen basically? Do I, you know, what do I do? I really don't have many options. I feel like any of this just gets destroyed. You know, maiden 1's over there. If I move king to a6, there's a maiden 7. And you can see, best move and pretty much only move to not be completely, totally losing was to bring the bishop back to b6. But, you know, I was also exploring that option. But what I realized, yes, bringing the bishop back to b6, I'm pinned. But if he does anything other than move this queen, I can somehow get out of the way and pin his queen to the king and save a losing position. So right here, it's plus 2.5 pretty much. Any other move would have been minus 8.5, or sorry, plus 8.5 or worse. So basically during this time, I devised this plan. All right, let me figure out a way to unpin and then pin his queen to his king. Which, by the way, when I devised this plan, hey, let's look for counterplay. One, it was actually inspired by Stupidity, which you see on the screen down below. He, you know, he gave like a little game analysis on a different stream, and he was basically saying when you're losing, don't just make losing moves. Like, even if it's technically losing, look for counterplay where if a mistake is made, you can make progress. And that was kind of like the whole point of bringing the bishop back, not just to block with the least valuable piece, but also to go for this pin at some point. And I just remember, like, when I came up with the idea, this is what it looked like. It was literally, I was just in and out of sleep on an airplane, like thinking about this game for 2 hours. Literally just nodding my head. I'm pretty sure the person next to me, like, I probably put my head on their shoulder at one point, and I was not on the pills, but I was definitely tired. I did not get enough sleep the night before. I think it was an early morning flight, but either way, I was just like, all right, like in my moment right before sleep, my creativity, my chess creativity, my 6-month-old chess brain came to light and said, this is what we're doing. And yeah, this is the plan. And I was like, as long as he doesn't move his queen, we're good. And I figured, because the rook was on f7, and remember, I'm doing this with my eyes closed. I was like, because the rook's on f7, why would he move the queen? He doesn't have any checks available, right? So I was like, all right, I have a plan to do this. Fortunately, when I got off the plane, this is the move that I walked off to. Rook f4. I was like, oh, rook f4. Like, I was gonna try and unpin myself, but he just did it for me. And now, even if I take, you know, this, if I went bishop c7 now, then the queen's not really pinned, and he can just take this rook and then pin my bishop again. So I was like, well, that's dumb. Let me just simplify. He has to take back here, or he doesn't have to, but he would take back with his queen, and then we go for the pin anyway. So was like, oh, this is perfect. And so that's what happened. And then when I went for the pin, the one thing I missed was I thought, yeah, if he took my rook, I would get pinned, but I forgot that he could pin here. And what I ended up doing, I think I moved my king to c8. Yep. And then he ended up simplifying anyway. And that's the big mistake for him, is simplifying, because okay, sorry, that's mistake number 1. Mistake number 2 is that he didn't realize that he has to get over here. He has to get over here and connect all these pawns. He cannot leave them separate, right? And by pushing a5, he totally let me back into the game. I took space so that I could basically shoulder him one way or another. Yes, it's a little inaccurate. This is a draw, but he's also inaccurate because we're both 1100 and 1300 daily. And yeah, so I ended up taking his h pawn, even though he took my c pawn. I still have 2 pawns kind of defending, and ultimately I was just faster. So we got to this point. Just a little cleanup. Yeah, a couple moves could have been faster, but he takes, and we bring the queen in, king in, and then we mate with the king and queen. So that was my game. It was definitely almost ruined, because when I went rook f3, I was playing a good game. I was up 6 points of material by the engine evaluation, and I sacked my rook for no reason whatsoever. I lost board vision, but what I lost in board vision, I got right back about 20 moves later. So it was in this position that I was able to visualize and see to bring the bishop back and go for a pin at some point. Luckily, my opponent helped me out, but I'm very proud of this game. Even though I had some inaccurate in-game play and obviously a very, very needless blind rook sack. What board vision I lacked during the rook sack, I gained back in this moment of clarity to go for the bishop pin of the queen. And yeah, I was just very happy with it. And hopefully, I was able to do this in 6 months. So hopefully, you guys are able to do it faster, or if you've been playing longer, I hope that you have already done it. In fact, if you've been able to visualize the board positions in your own head, please let me know how long it took you in your chess journey. I would be very interested here in the comments below. If you liked the video, hit like below, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.